Here comes the video from Friday about how I made another $230 across 3 accounts. So that's another, say, $700, $600. We'll get into it and I'll explain. It's a little bit of a, questionable one, but, I'll talk you through it. So, obviously, I already saw that we tapped into this hourly gap and I still expected us to go higher. However, we had this hourly gap right here, and on a 15-minute we had this right here, and I just don't think this was a reasonable enough kind of flip to see higher. So my brain was saying, all right, we probably gonna head towards this low, at least very close. Again, if you guys know already, I hate targeting these lows, okay, because I know they're gonna get edged very often before potentially being taken. So I'm not targeting this low in sense of my TP is not on this low, right? But I'm going to trade with the idea that we're heading towards that low, right? But my TP is never going to be on this low because I'm afraid of or expecting that we're going to edge it, right? If I go towards the 5-minute chart here, you see there's absolutely nothing. But what really gave me the confidence to short this despite is the fact that there's nothing in the other direction too, right? I still think this is a very nice reason for us to go lower, right? And as you guys know, I hate looking for these lows, right? And we had a perfect 5-minute swing low inside of here, combined with a gap that I deemed appropriate for me to target, right? If I zoom into a 1-minute now, again, take into consideration the 15-minute gap, right? I know we're heading towards this low. What happens here, right? We're inside this gap and we obviously have a really nice shift after sweeping all of these highs. We sweep these highs, we have a really nice shift. Like this candle is very beautiful. Shift lower, right? Edge the lows, retracement, right? Another move lower, and we edge the low and create an equal low, right? When I then saw the retracement, I saw the high being swept here, and then we get this fucking candle. I decided, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna entry on this. I had again quite a little bit of a late entry, which I'm not very happy about, but I still took it for a 1-to-1 like I always do. Well, okay, I didn't actually, because I got screwed over here. Again, in a case like this, if I'm entering on this, I'm expecting legit the next candle to hit this low, right? So my stop loss, yes, has to be still somewhere, because we could go back all the way up here, for example, before we end up going lower. But I'm not too worried because I know that legit in the next minutes, my stop loss is going to be pretty much at break even. Why? Because again, like that is the strategy that I kind of use, right? I expect the move, the speed to be sudden and fast through the slow. And once the slow is taken, there's really nothing stopping price from going all the way back up here before potentially continuing lower. As well as I have the idea of the 15-minute low potentially being edged and seeing a deeper retracement like this all the way up here, and then we have a nice displacement. This is like I hope it's very easy for you guys to understand why I say this is nice displacement. Like you can see how we're chopping here, visually chopping, slowly going higher, and then in 3-minute candles, really it's this candle that I'm looking for. One candle fucking just displaces us to the ground. In these cases, like this is very clean, but obviously I didn't take that. I decided to stay with the more scalpy approach. And yeah, I got this entry. I put the break even here, and I got kind of screwed over here. I got kind of screwed over here because my browser, I was still on my old PC at this point. I didn't have the MacBook. My browser kept disconnecting because I had a application that like stops you from scrolling like TikTok, for example, on the PC, because I have a lot of hours on TikTok, but not on my PC, right? It's on my phone. But there was some malfunctions with the browser or with the app, and it kept disconnecting my browser. So I actually didn't end up getting tagged on the TP, and instead I got a little bit less. So it was supposed to be a 300 trade, $300 trade, but it was only, if we go here, $236 per account, right? Pretty much every single account got the same exact fill. Despite the fact, I'm still very happy with this trade. It's a scalp, yes, whatever, but I'm still very call it happy. Like it's a very nice read, you know what I mean? And yeah, if I'm staying patient a little bit more, I could get these better trades. And you wouldn't be really wrong for saying that. And maybe I should. But a lot of the times when I see this, in my opinion, this trade is already so good that it's like it's stupid to not take it. You know what I mean? Like the draw is so obvious. It's kind of stupid to not take this trade and hope that this happens later. You know what I mean? If this was way less cleaner in some way or shape or form, maybe I would have waited a little bit more. But I don't know. In my opinion, this is just too clean to, not take. And, I'm not going to edge you guys. We're going to talk about the eval trade as well real quick. And yeah, this is very, very unconventional. I very rarely will you see me taking these kind of entries. But it's an eval, so I'm more prone to kind of be a little bit retarded. So the hourly bias from this gap has in fact come to clutch, call it, or into fruition. And this high is very much so on the radar, right? 8:30, we have NFP, which fucking pumps the market. And I know in days like this, where we have this kind of structure, right? That is kind of my idea. Excuse my fucking shot. When we have this kind of structure and we're expecting this high, I know that 9 times out of 10, we're just gonna fucking keep going. We are just gonna keep going. So essentially, my thought process behind that was that we are just gonna keep going. So any kind of retracement into a long, I'm willing to take, even though if it's not ideal, right? So in this case, we had this 1 minute candle down, and we actually inverted this gap. And I know some people actually took this inversion, and in my opinion, it's like you're just pattern trading. You have zero narrative. You have zero idea for the market. You're trying to long this, like short, I mean this. Why are you doing this to yourself? Despite the fact, I don't really think my long was technically valid. I'd never take this trade on an XFA, if I'm being totally honest. But for an eval play, I do think it's fine. The bias is obviously fucking bullish. We go down, we get some rejection, and I'm kind of expecting the same move here. Like we had the 830 candle up, we have a big wick, and yeah, it's rejecting it, whatever, it's creating that wick. But if you see it, it's kind of like brain deadly going higher, and I kind of just expected the same thing here. So after let me remove execution for a bit. After this candle right here, when this candle started pumping a bit, I entered in long with 35 micros. Yeah, 35 micros. I entered pretty high up again. Again, this is an eval. I'm not mad about this. But when I see this, I'm like, okay, we are probably going to go high. My stop loss was, I honestly couldn't tell you, but it was about $1,000 with 35 micros. So that's 35. How do I do the math again? 35 times 2 is per point, $70 per point. So my stop loss was like this, something like that, right? But I had to have about here, somewhere around here, for me to get the 1.5. But what I ended up doing is when this candle opened and started just pumping, I just said fuck it when we were pretty far away. I entered with the remaining 15 micros, so now I'm in with 50, which is the maximum for a 50 case on top step. I moved my stop to break even, and I just went into this trade with the expectation that this next candle is just gonna rip up through this high, and worst case scenario, I'll just get stop break even and I'll wait for 930 to trade, and best case scenario, I'll be up the 1500 and halfway to passing these combines. So that is essentially what I did. And now, if anybody wonders, my plan with these combines is going into the week, I'm probably gonna risk about $1,000 on this account, maybe more if I have a really clean 1-to-1. I might risk a little bit more to try to pass it within that next trade, but my main kind of view is I want to risk 1,000 and I want to make that 1.5 RR to pass the account, and then I'll have 5 funded. So to recap it, going into this week, I am probably gonna focus on the combine first so I can pause them, and then I can start racking up the winning days on the combines or on the new lives and the old lives, and make our way next to the next payout. I need 3 more winning days on the XFAs. Obviously, if I get them in a row, that would be fucking beautiful. But I'm hoping for another 1 to 1.5k payout per account by, I mean, by May. But if it's next week or in 2 weeks, it would be nice. But obviously, I'm not rushing it. I'm just saying I hope to have another one by the end of May. And the 2 new combines, which hopefully will pass. We might not, and then I have to buy new ones, and that would suck. The payout from them is probably still quite a while away because they're not even fucking passed yet. So yeah. All right. Either way, that is it. Those are the 2 trades I took on Friday, and I'm gonna continue making these throughout the weeks, more than likely. So see you guys.